Hello, Heroclix land. Welcome back to Talkn Clix, where we celebrate the heroes of Heroclix. I'm your host Wespool. With me, as always, is Scott the Missing Link,
Good evening.
and we are doing a cross the country podcast tonight. Who we got tonight?
Tonight we have the Eagle cast. Brian, I don't want to butcher your last name.
It's
Dormier?
Dormaier.
Dormaier.
But I've gotten all kinds. Dormier, Dormier. Dormier is probably my favorite one. I played football in high school, and there was this announcer that loved saying my name to the point that I wasn't even on the field at one point, and I heard him announce number 72, Brian Dormier, and on the tackle, the big Frenchman.
It wasn't even out there. All right. I've also heard you be called Pastor Brian before.
Yeah, Pastor Brian, King Brian, Clix Dad, all of these are names associated with me.
Where does Pastor Brian come from?
Well, in my 20s, so I worked as a pastor through my 20s into my early 30s. Had a little bit of a career change in mid 30s and work solely as a software engineer these days. But yeah, so the Pastor Brian thing is literally because I was Pastor Brian.
And what are the other names again?
King Brian and the Clix Dad.
So were you a king at one point?
No, those King Brian was a personality that developed at some point on the Eagle cast. I don't even remember where it came from, except for it gave me a good stupid personality to play with when we recorded. And same with Clix Dad. My former co-host Chip, we always called the Clix Mom because he was always making sure that everyone who was playing in a tournament had pieces, and then for our team traveling together, there was always a cooler full of beers in the back of the car and a bag full of snacks. And so we constantly talked about him being our Clix Mom, giving us orange slices and juice boxes during tournaments.
Awesome.
Nice. So y'all recently started re-recording. What happened?
Yeah.
Why'd y'all stop?
Well, so back in 2022, we ended the Eagle cast, which was just we'd been having a frustrating series of events with our store and getting support, and had quite a few local players that had kind of burned out. And so just four of the five of us that were doing the Eagle cast all kind of felt like it was time to step away from the game. Myself among them. And Corey, who was on the Eagle cast, still is my co-host with the Eagle Hub on the newly revived version of the show. Corey kept playing, and after a couple year break, I said, I don't have a lot going on. It would be nice to have a hobby. And Corey showed me some new Clix stuff, and it tempted me back into the game.
Back on the crack now.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a question I've been pondering all week. So I understand mathematics. 1 + 1 = 2, correct?
Not always. I can make it where it's not.
Usually.
All right. So if I have a glass of water and another glass of water, and I pour one into the other, I'm adding water. Do I have one glass of water or two glasses of water?
You see?
Oh.
This is where you get to your portions and your decimals. I told you I can make 1 + 1 = 3 if you like.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're treading into ontological territory.
My daughter has a very blonde friend that asks this question in my back seat there, and I'm like, as dumb as it sounds, then I started actually thinking about that actually kind of makes a little bit of goofy sense.
So at what point do you have 2 glasses of water? That's the real question.
Well, I've come to the conclusion that adding is not combining. When you combine two things into something else, it's not the same thing as adding. Adding is when you have two separate items that
Yeah, you just messed yourself up.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, though, the 2 glasses of water, 1 glasses of water thing might explain some of the points formula that we get in Heroclix. So,
Hey, we're not supposed to talk about that.
sorry.
Point formula works for whoever's making it.
Yeah. Yeah. And they calculate it by pouring glasses of water.
So, how'd you get started in Heroclix?
I got started in Heroclix via a friend who was really into X-Men. And this must have been, it was right around when the giant size X-Men set came out. And he was over at a buddy's house and he was like, hey, our friend Maya is playing this like this like board game kind of game that has like X-Men characters. It looks really cool. We should go play. And so we started playing with our buddy Maya, ended up having like 4 of us. And, you know, as is always the case when you get into it in casual, it would turn into us playing like 4-player free-for-all 1,000 points each kind of games that, you know, we play for 4 hours and we're still only like halfway through the game, at which point, you know, somebody's wife is like kicking us out of the house. So, but yeah, I got into it with that and played a lot of home games for about the first year, and then kind of got the itch to just see what other people were doing. And there was about 3 leagues around Portland at the time, and went and played. And I felt like I was a pretty good player from playing, you know, it on the table with just buddies, and then I got crushed by like an 8-year-old child in my tournament at a store.
That's the welcoming committee right there.
Yeah.
I think that's happened to everybody at some point.
Yeah, and it's always my like story that I tell players when they're new to the game. I'm like, listen, I played for a year and thought I was good, and then the first time that I expanded who I played against, I got crushed by a child. So, you know, don't feel bad. It takes a while to learn this game.
Even relearning it takes a minute.
Yeah. Hey, it doesn't require age to roll dice.
It's true.
So, you got anybody out there that uses pop dice?
Oh, Miles was using the pop dice for a while.
Yeah.
And so annoying.
Oh boy. Just hearing that thing get slammed like 3 times in a row from not even at my table was enough for me to be like, bro, you need, what kind of dice do you need? I'll buy them for you.
All right. So did a bull crash through your wall and get stuck, or did you hang those antlers behind you?
Oh yeah. So the horns behind me are some horns that my dad put together from a bull on our ranch in Eastern Washington State. So yeah, some farm accoutrement. I have a couple set of antlers around my house through as well, but
I just thought I thought a bull crashed through your wall and just got stuck there. And you just left it.
Nah.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of bulls running around in Portland these days. So,
all right. So, where's your local shop, and what day do you play?
Well, right now we don't have a local shop. There's literally nowhere in Portland that is running Heroclix tournaments. So, the closest I have is Mythic Finds in Dallas, Oregon, which is about an hour-and-a-half drive south of us. And Corey and I go down and play there maybe once every other month or so. You know, just to have an opportunity to play somebody besides us here in Portland. But yeah, the Heroclix scene in Portland, you know, right around when I got out of the game and took my little break, it just kind of died around here and hasn't picked up. So
you play a lot.
What happened with Gun Guy?
Yeah, Gun Guy got out of Heroclix. That was part of our frustrations. I don't want to get it deep into it, but that was part of our frustrations of what was happening when the Eagle Cast kind of took a break. So
do you play a lot of Roll20 then, since you don't have a local shop?
Yeah, I've got a group of West Coast buds that I'm in a Discord with, and we try to pop on and play some games on Roll20. Jesse Cote, Paul Cote, Zach Strong, who lives up in Bellingham, Washington. Jason Phillips, who's Southern Oregon, a couple other guys. So, we do some Roll20 stuff. Roll20s, it's not as good as the real thing, man.
Oh no. No. Not even close.
It's nice for working through positioning and stuff and like working out concepts, but it's not the same as playing on a table.
Yeah, it's a very different feel, and it's so much so that it's hard to remember everything because you're used to the tactile cards and figures in front of you. Scott and I did a practice game last week, and we recorded and posted it. And after we posted it, Scott rewatched it and goes, "Man, we misplayed this. We forgot this. We forgot that." And then somebody pointed out another thing we forgot. I'm like,
No. I mentioned it, and you're like, "No, it works this way." I'm like, "All right, cool."
Yes.
Don't always believe your opponent, guys. Ask the judge.
Yes. So I hoping that we can run it back and do it right next time. But yeah, Roll20 is a great tool. As my microphone falls, but yeah, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, I don't miss the days of COVID when we were all playing on Roll20 all the time.
Well, I feel like it made me sharp being on Roll20, knowing what Roll20 could do and knowing the aspects of Roll20. But I haven't used it a ton since COVID, so I'm like, whatever. And apparently, if you have the premium package, then you can upload the dials in there and stuff.
Oh, interesting. Because I remember for a while there, we were working on a concept of doing like clickable dials by like customizing dice. Because we had for a tournament, some online tournament, I'd been working on the concept. I wrote a Python script to like generate all of the images to do that, which was a ton of work, and then ended up not really using it. And I was like, man, why did I spend all this time programming this? But that was kind of COVID in a nutshell,
Right.
Was just like a lot of random stuff. And why are we doing this? And I don't know, but here we are.
So since the field is so thin out there, what keeps you in the game?
Truly just the joy of playing the game. What is nice is like, even though the field is thin, there's a whole bunch of players that I've known for a long time that it's just genuinely a joy to get to see. And so for me, it's the competitive scene, having tournaments where we see a bunch of the players from the Man Bats, seeing some of the youngsters involved with the Man Bats getting to be better players. So like the Man Bats are Will Egler and Charles Constant and Merritt Chapman, and then Cal Chapman is his son, who's gotten to be really good. It's been cool to see Cal develop as a player. There's a couple other guys associated with them whose names are escaping me right now. Jeremiah.
But how did they get a name, Man Bats?
Somebody in their group really liked Man Bat, and so there was a while when teams were being made in the Northwest, and all of our team names were very funny because there was a point where we had Brothers Prob, and then we had Strike Force 5, then we had the Eagles, and then we had Team Sasquatch, and then Man Bats. So just all kinds of wild team names. And teams seem to have kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit, but a lot of great goofy team names that popped up in our area. And I mean, even us being the Eagles was like a joke. Everything with the Eagles and the Eagle cast was like always based off of some weird joke. But the Eagles thing was Glitterdix Matt Peterson, who was part of Strike Force 5. They were putting on a tournament, and it was hosted at a Eagles Lodge. And on our group, there was just a lot of jokes going back and forth. And we were like, wait, it's like a lodge run by Eagles. And it was just Matt losing his mind over these dumb questions. And after that tournament, we were like, you know what, we should really form a team. And, true to just being the trolly, jokey group that we're like the Eagles, because it's going to drive Matt crazy. So that's why we're the Eagles.
And what made you want to start a podcast?
Same thing. The joke. Brothers Prob had a podcast, and we were practicing together one day, and we were like, "Hey, you know what? We could do a podcast too." And like, it doesn't have to be serious. Let's just do it, see what happens. And so we started recording, and then just kind of enjoyed doing it, and it turned from being a joke into being a thing.
So for our listeners who aren't familiar with your podcast, can you kind of give people a synopsis of what you do on your show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to. They do a lot of tomfuckery, and they just laugh a lot.
that is the primary thing. So yeah, it started as, it was a joke, and then the next thing was just like, hey, there's not a lot of rep given to the Pacific Northwest, so we just really want to try to highlight Clix that are happening in the Pacific Northwest. And so it was a lot of just talking about our local tournaments, talking about interesting builds that were happening up here that weren't happening elsewhere, and then a lot of clowning that came out of that. A lot of inside long running jokes with other folks up here, a lot of light shit talk, and just trying to have a good time. And one of the things for us was like, hey, there's 100 Heroclix podcasts that you can listen to, and lots of them talk about the meta, and we have interesting opinions on the meta, but you're not going to listen to us if all we're doing is the same thing as everybody else. So our thing was always like, at least you should get a couple laughs while you listen to us.
Absolutely.
And that's always been our driving ethos is, if I'm going to do it, I want it to be entertaining. I want it to be engaging. And so those are our two big things. And lots of running jokes. We definitely had some times in the early ons where, like, especially when we started getting noticed outside the Pacific Northwest, where we were maybe a little bit more acerbic than we needed to be, that caused a little bit of drama. But that's all water under the bridge now, and
drama in Heroclix? What?
I know. I mean, there's still attempts at drama. The nice thing is that, like, anybody that they try to stir it up on something that I say now is like, that person knows me, so they know that it was probably made in good fun and not just trying to dunk.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anyone in Heroclix that is trying to be malicious, and if they are, then they get outcast pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yep, I would definitely agree with that statement. So what is your play style? Like, if you're going to a major event, what are you building around, and what's your mindset going into it?
Yeah. So like my little chat group likes to call what I play Brian bullshit, which is generally that it's like, I track the meta pretty closely, so I know a lot of like what's being played. I don't tend to play what's being played, or if I do, it tends to be like an inversion on it. So like an example of that, last year for the summer CCO in Washington, I played the Ultra Chase Collector, which, there was a whole run of Ultra Chase Collectors, and it was all around just like high defensive shell. And I still had a little bit of that, but I said, if everybody's expecting you to just kind of play this conservative game with Collector, what if you invert it and instead make him like a really aggressive piece? Because he's still got a long dial.
Yeah.
And so started tinkering with that, and then added in the Brian bullshit on that one, which was playing him with Spider-Ham Prime, because the one piece that I was really scared of was Hadari Yao. And I realized, like, oh, there's some neat tricks that I could do if I've got Spider-Ham Prime with him that'll help with what Hadari wants to do against me. And so it's usually some inversions like that. For Silver last fall, I decided I want to try and see if I can make Prime Q work in Silver Age. And so it was right after Animal Man had come out, so I put Animal Man on Prime Q so that he could use Hypersonic And then it was just a team of annoying pieces on top of that. A lot of like knockback and stuff. And a lot of my like old all-star pieces that are just frustrating to play against. So it's like Kid Loki from the Disney Plus set, who has the like stat modifier thing. And then he had the destroyer armor on, so he had lines of fire to everybody for his stat modifiers. And then somebody else carrying the emotional modifier next to him doing -1 attacks. And my old crutch, the Sinestro from Wonder Woman 80, who has the like free knockback. It was him, and then another piece with telekinesis, and the giant penny from the Batman iconic set. And it was just like TK the penny around and then use free knockback to knock people into the penny and hope I can hit the 3 damage. And then Faust was on there. So it's just a bunch of annoying pieces that all just kind of work together.
Some Brian bullshit.
Yeah. I have a really fun Brian bullshit silver team that I'm building for playing at Adepticon that I'm.
So how is your bullshit different than Miles Kane's bullshit?
Oh, mine is much more technical than Miles. Miles is like YOLO bullshit, and mine is more like you're going to have to think about every placement that you make, because otherwise there's some stupid trick that I'm about to pull. So Miles is like my personal kryptonite too, because his YOLO style, I'm like a very calculated player in the midst of all of my stuff. And Miles is just like, well, we'll just see what happens. Which is just my least favorite thing. Like, no, think about what you're doing.
No. It's just throw it against the wall and see what happens.
Yeah.
So Wes hates Silver Age, just so you know.
I do not.
I can't say he hates Silver Age. Wes does not have the experience in Silver Age and does not have the understanding of like everything is got its own place and it can be good.
Yeah.
Largely because of Prime Q. My very first game was against him, and it gave me PTSD from Silver Age.
All right, so I'm going to say you're more competitive than you are casual.
Yes, very much so.
And silver over modern, or modern over silver?
Honestly, I prefer modern. Silver has definitely been the more popular one here recently, so I've been building a lot of silver. But I prefer modern, and I prefer 300 points to 400 points, which is just I feel like at 300 points you have to make some interesting tactical decisions about what your team does. That when you get into 400 points, you can kind of you're given the choices of either you can kind of round your bases or you can really go all in on one thing. But I feel like 300 plays out a little bit more to you have to have a primary thing and you have to build around that thing. And
400 you can double it up.
Yeah. And so, building in 300 for me is like, it's interesting because you read the meta, you see what's the most oppressive stuff out there, and how is that going to filter what's going to be good. And all right, so I don't have to play the oppressive stuff, but I know the oppressive stuff is going to shape the meta this way. So if it shapes the meta this way, what can I play that's off the beaten path, but that's potentially really good in this? An interesting one is, like in 300 meta right now, Beetlejuice is king. Take away free actions is
Rogue Prime is king.
Oh, Rogue Prime's really good, but man, taking away free actions is so powerful. But what's interesting is nobody in the Northwest wants to play Beetlejuice. So every time that I go to a 300 point tournament here, there's no fearing Beetlejuice except for maybe Corey, my teammate. And so it changes how I have to build from what would I build playing somewhere else to also, all right, I know the guys that I'm going to play against, and that means that maybe here I'm going to play something that's a little bit different than I might play elsewhere, because what they tend towards kind of changes what is consistently works.
So your region is kind of notoriously light on the Heroclix players.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the catalyst behind just your corner of the states being so thin?
I think it's a couple things. One is that while we don't have a lot of competitive players, there's a lot of collectors in the Northwest. So before Gong Guy, I used to run games at another spot in Portland called Things from Another World, and we sold at that store maybe like we had a regular league of 10 players that would play, and we sold more to collectors who never played in the tournament than we did to our 10 regular players who played every week. And we're talking like, it wouldn't be unusual for like a brick average for every, per player, for every player in our league for a new set. But there were collectors that would buy much more than that. And they just weren't interested in playing. So there's lots of collectors around, but the competitive scene isn't quite the same. And there's some things that you can say about that in terms of just kind of what the personality is of types that are drawn to Portland and Seattle, and that's maybe a little bit of it. There's a cultural thing here of like you get out and about on the weekends, which makes it hard to play regularly if your primary tournaments are on the weekends, because that means you have to sacrifice going skiing or going out to the coast or going snowshoeing or driving up the gorge or whatever. There's lots of outdoor activities. That's a big part of the culture out here. So that's part of it. I don't know. I mean, I think I feel like Heroclix is very much a like primarily millennial game, like younger Gen X and millennials. And I haven't seen, at least out here, a pickup of like younger players. And just the cultural makeup seems to have players that avoid it. And like even our players that do play, a lot of them are kind of this like, I just want to do my own thing, so I don't really care what the meta is. Which means sometimes they'll play in tournaments, but a lot of times they won't, because it's well, since I just want to play my thing and I know that like what's going to be played there is broken, then I just am not going to show up.
Is Magic pretty healthy there?
Yeah, Magic is wild out here. So
I'm just very fascinated by the regional cultural differences between one corner of the US and the other, and why Magic would be so healthy but not Heroclix when they're very similar types of games.
Not even close to the type of game.
Strategy, collector, like tabletop.
Yeah, in that they're collectibles, definitely. Yeah, I mean, Wizards of the Coast just seems to dominate out here. That's definitely part of it. Yeah, I don't know. There is a little bit of a feeling for a lot of us out here that we're kind of the like forgotten region by Wizkids. Because it often feels like we might as well be like also one of the overseas groups, which is unfair to the overseas groups, but it feels that way because it's like, well, we're so like the travel for us to any of the big events is so long,
Well, most of the big events are east of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
You got CCO coming up in Orlando. You have H4H, which is going to be in Nashville. You have World's going to be in Nashville. You have when is regional or whatever it is, not Gen Con. What are they doing in June?
Origins.
Nationals. Origins. Where's that at?
Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Is that east of the Mississippi?
Is Wisconsin. Red One Clix is Indiana.
All east of the Mississippi?
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. To hell with all those guys. We need something west of the Mississippi.
I don't disagree. If I lived over that side, I'd be running my events over there. But unfortunately, I'm stuck in Indiana against my will. So
overcome great fear, Wes. Use your willpower.
It's my other half.
Somebody, look, there's my hands. That's not me. I'm not fapping.
I don't hear anything.
All right, are you a better builder or a better pilot?
I am 100% a better builder. It's not that I'm not good at piloting, but I just I'm great at building weird stuff. And I am terrible at rolling dice. So I've gotten very, very skilled at trying to build teams that take dice rolling out of the equation as much as possible.
So is probability control necessary?
Man, without probability control, I don't know how many games I would ever win because my dice love to roll 3s and 4s.
So do mine, even if I have prop.
That is why I do love knockback, by the way, is if I could just reliably deal 1 damage, I might just take that.
So when you build, are you more are your teams more character driven or dial driven?
Concept driven. So for me, it's more about just like what's an interesting interaction of powers. Like I'm not a like characters guy in like yeah, I enjoy comic books, but I don't really build teams around like, oh, I really want to see Spider-Man and Deadpool together on this team.
Yeah.
For me, it's much more of a like, there's a really interesting possibility that this power and this power can interact, and like how can I try to make that happen? So I lean more that way for sure.
Oh, you mean like Ellie Iceman and Hercules from the new Iconics?
Ooh, I haven't looked at that combo.
75 points. Oh, if you really want to get into it, throw Tila in there also, the Black Panther Prime that nobody plays. Now you have sidestep at 3.
Ooh, I like that. In that Hercules Iconics pack, I've been playing a lot with the Hydra. I am like so into that piece.
Do you like him on low dial or top dial?
On low dial. I think if it's played right, with Animal Man, it's really hard to KO, and it's a lot of fun.
It is hard to KO.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated with a character or a piece is leaked ahead of time before release, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is going to be game changing. It's going to be on every meta team," and then release happens and events happen, and you never see it again. Example: Leech. Where's Leech? Leech is supposed to be the game changer.
I told you Leech was going to be terrible.
I never listened to you, Scott.
I know, because
it sounds like the lesson here is we all need to listen to Scott.
Leech was terrible. You have to have at least 2 of them to make him worthwhile, and he's still just donating points.
Lobo is out there dominating games. Leech is the perfect way to counter him.
No. You want to know what Leech was good? The Legacy Leech, and you would put the oh my gosh, what was the triangle?
Oh
from
yeah,
the Wonder Woman. You put that on him, so he has a movement of 10. He can hop 6 and then move 10. He's got full board reach, and you're just standing there, and they're negated, and then you go kill him.
Mm-hmm.
That Leech was good.
That or like that Leech, and then the Legacy Lockjaw carrying him around was another fun one with that Leech.
Yes.
Yeah.
I use the snot out of that Leech.
Silver.
But yeah, it is interesting because it is sometimes something's previewed and everybody loses their minds about it. And then once it hits the table, it's not as good as you felt like it was. And then there's always these other pieces that are sneaker pieces that like nobody notices. And then 6 months later, somebody comes up with a really clever way to play it. And all of a sudden everyone's playing that piece, you know? One of the fun things for me is just I love HC units now because I just browse through tournaments all the time, just check out what people are building, see what other regions are doing. And I love seeing kind of idea contagion happen where like somebody plays a combo and then a bunch of other people are like, ooh, that combo is really interesting. And then you start seeing like a bunch of different mutations off of that combo, but trying to exploit that combo. And it's one of the funnest things to watch in this game, and I'm really glad to have HC units now with so many shared builds to be able to kind of watch as ideas evolve in play.
Yep. Oh, shout out to all the CCO players this last weekend. I guess there was a lot of games going on last weekend. I did not participate. Did you go to anything, Scott?
No, there was a CCO in Dallas, and Kenny Meeks was asking me if I was going to go. I'm like, nope, I got plans. other than having a migraine all weekend, I went to go see my stepdaughter in Louisiana, and I slept through most of it because of my migraine.
Yep, those are rough. I
Yeah,
have those. My
still
wife
fighting
has
it.
had them. She actually throws up from them. She gets so bad.
That's a personal preference. I can't make myself throw up. I can't willingly throw up.
No, she doesn't willingly. It's just the migraine is so bad she can't help it.
Nope, nope. I will suffer in pain before I throw up. You don't understand. Throwing up is like giving up on life. I'm not going to do that.
Did Brian? Did you go to any CCOs this last weekend?
Not this last weekend. We had the Washington one a couple weekends ago, and that was the only one up here. So I did that. I had a crazy weekend for that. So I did like a 60-hour work week. Then Friday evening drove up to Seattle, played in that event in Seattle on Saturday, and then I had another tournament in Dallas, Oregon that I had signed up for. So then that Saturday after we finished the tournament, drove back to Portland, got up at 6 the next morning to get everything ready, and then drove the hour and a half south to go play in this modern tournament in Oregon. And the end of that, I got home and I was like, oof, I did not rest at all this weekend.
Glad right, segue question that Wes likes to ask. After an event, how long does it take you to put away your stuff?
Well, the box that they're all in goes down with my stuff. When did the things come out of that box and get put back to where they're supposed to be?
Yeah.
When the next tournament is.
Yeah. That's about right.
So you went and played last weekend, Wes. How long did it take you to pack away or unpack?
So funny enough, it was the first time I actually unpacked the day of. I was actually in the middle of categorizing all my stuff into HD units, so I have a clear inventory list of what I'm missing and stuff. And so I just happened to be in the middle of that when I was putting my stuff away, so I just put it all away then.
Look, I want to say that bless you, sir, for going in there and categorizing your stuff, because I have this plethora of Heroclix on this wall and this wall that I don't think I could ever go through and categorize everything that I have or I'm missing. It would take forever.
My goal is binder every 2 days, so it took me about a week to get through. But yeah, I love HD units. Like Clay is just knocked out of the park with everything that program does. So you're a programmer. Do you get into the code of HD units?
I haven't really tinkered with it much. Clay and I worked together on HC maps. I gave HC maps a big overhaul during COVID, which I've kind of enjoyed because the UI overhaul stuff that I did for that has made its way onto HC units. So whenever I see it, I smile a little bit and be like, yeah, I nudged Clay to go make something new. But I haven't really gotten into the coding. My teammate and co-host of the Eagle Hub, Corey, though, does all of the graphics for him. So like all the little character icons and stuff. Corey scrambles to get out as soon as pieces are out, and
kudos to him for that.
Hey, I kind of like the silhouettes.
Yeah. I mean, it leaves it up to imagination until there's something.
Yeah.
So you're a whole different level of nerd. There's the comic book nerds, and you're like both them with the actual technology.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I have worked in tech since I graduated with a degree in computer science in 2006. And even when I was working as a pastor, I always had like at least a part-time gig in tech. So I've been doing computer stuff since about as early as you could on mobile app stuff. And these days I do a little bit more server side work, but still do a lot of mobile work as well. So I get my dirty little hands into a lot of things in the tech world.
All right. This is time for my favorite question of the show. And Scott, I'm going to let you ask him one question before we guess his age.
What year did you graduate?
2002.
All right. Ready.
Whew.
Same age I was going to guess anyway.
36.
41.
42.
Ooh. Yeah, I love that. I don't. I'm really bad at guessing ages, but I
Like
figure.
if he graduated in 2002 and he's 36, he graduated at like 13 years old, Wes?
I might be
14
like
years
a
old?
Doogie Howser, Scott.
You might be, but just saying. Math works in mysterious ways, Wes. Math works in
Do
mysterious
you work
ways.
for a specific company?
I work for a small contracting company here in Portland called Knuckleheads. So we do consulting work with various companies, so like of all sizes, from like startups to Fortune 500, and just about anything in between. So I get to do, I get to be the guy that knows how to work with small teams, that knows how to work with giant corporate teams, and yeah.
So what kind of programming do you do? Like, are you designing software? Are you designing games? Do you
Uh,
design websites?
So web applications and mobile applications, not really in the games world, more like more consumer front end or business tooling primarily. So kind of depends on the project, but most of our work is more in those worlds. So I do a lot of Android app development, but
Boo.
I also do server development as well. So
We're an Apple household.
oh, that's fine. I mean, I work on a MacBook.
So let's get back to HeroClix a little bit here. I'm assuming that you've been to several of the major events. Which
Uh,
one is your favorite one to go to?
well, I went to Worlds in 2022. Had a good time with that. It was fun, just to get to see a whole bunch of people that I know by name, but rarely get to play because of the geographical difference. So I think probably that would be my favorite major event. If I were to cheat a little bit though, it's Clix Camp, which is our like
That show's local thing.
our like local Northwest thing. But it's you know, it's we we've done it a few different places, but the idea is to like have somewhere that we can play outside because Oregon, Washington summers are beautiful, and ideally get a bunch of nerds together to camp for a couple.
Yeah, but what happens if the wind blows? Like all my character cards, my map, everything's gone
Oh,
with
yeah.
the wind.
So like last year's was fantastic. It was perfect for it. So we played at a hop farm that had like a great barn that we played in. So it had like a little bit of a breezeway, but it was like covered enough that you weren't getting wild wind through. But had enough breezeway so that you weren't just sweating to death inside of a barn. And that one was fantastic. And then we camped just down the road in some private property right on a river with a swimming hole. It was a great little setup.
So what is your license in comics? Do you prefer DC or Marvel?
Uh, Between DC and Marvel, but Image over both of them.
It looks like a Toxic Avenger fan.
I love so I don't do a lot of comic collecting, but what I do collect is like Invincible, The Walking Dead, um, Powers by Brian Michael Bendis, which is on Vertigo, I want to say. There's another great series on Image called Black Science that was fantastic to collect. But I get more into that than either Marvel or DC, if I'm being honest.
Let's go, Scott.
I mean, I have a really hard question. A really, really hard question. What color is water?
Depends on what minerals are inside of it.
I'm just gonna say generally, if you had a glass of water in front of you, what color is it?
Transparent.
So if I pour it onto clothing, why does the clothing get darker?
There's a physics reason for it.
Yeah, I know the answer.
But
I mean, if it's, I mean, for the regular person, I mean, if
Yeah.
I pour water on this white shirt, it's going to get a yellowish color and darker.
True. Yeah. So I guess we'd have to say, what color is water? It's a multiply.
Would you like to know the physics answer?
Sure.
Hell yeah.
All right. As we know, the clothing is not a solid aspect; it is a woven fiber together,
Mm-hmm.
and there's gaps in these fibers. So what the water does is it'll fill these gaps up, and then as the light's hitting it, it's absorbing more of the light, and it's refracting a darker color.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, makes sense.
Science.
Wow. Wow.
Right. What is your music genre?
My what genre?
Music genre.
Music.
Oh, music genre. Rock, baby. I'm all about all kinds.
5 Finger Death Punch.
So the band that I've been into a lot recently is called Bill Murray, like Bilmuri. And it's like countrycore is probably the best thing that I could call the genre, where it's like it's primarily like metalcore sensibility, but they use like instruments that you would associate more with country music in interesting ways on it. And it's just like it's just fun music.
All right, I'm gonna have to find some of this stuff.
Yeah. The lead man from Bill Murray, his name is Johnny Frank, and he was in a band called Attack Attack, which was like crabcore, which is a very specific type of metalcore before that. But yeah, Bill Murray's fun. In fact, so Corey and I and David, one of our former Eagles, are all going to a Bill Murray show this summer that I'm very excited for.
Nice. How big is your Heroclix collection? Do you collect a little bit of everything? Are you a completionist?
I used to be a completionist. I've gone through 2 purges in the last 10 years. Where just like one was about 10 years ago, and I just got rid of all of my old stuff and just gave it to somebody else who was interested. Just said, you can have this. I don't have the space for it. Take it away, please. And I was a little bit more of a completionist back then. And I was like everything except for my X-Men stuff, from like giant size X-Men until the Thor set, where the dial started being on the cards. I just gave away all of it. And then after that, I'll pick up a brick of a set if I feel like there's a lot of pieces that I would really want. But generally now I just kind of pick and choose and look for what's interesting for me from a set and just pick those out. With playing competitive and not having a ton of events, there's not a reason to have a huge collection. So I try to be a little bit more choosy these days.
So what have you pick and chose from Strange Tales?
So Strange Tales was a set that I bought a brick of because there was enough pieces across all rarities that I was really excited for. I really wanted the Hydra pieces. I still haven't gotten Prime Baron Strucker, but he's on my to get list at some point, and I will play a weird Hydra team with him once I have that for Silver Age. Nico Minoru was like one piece that I didn't pull, the Chase Nico, that I was like, I need this piece because I will definitely build with her. And then I was very interested in the super rare Doctor Strange in that set. Thought he would be fun. I'm actually, I haven't heard a lot of hype for it, but I'm kind of hyped for the Possessors. I think there's some interesting tricks to be had with them. And I was very excited to get all 3 in my brick.
Nice.
I don't know. I'm not feeling the Possessors too much. I can just take an action and take them off. Granted, it is action economy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so for me, it's the action economy, and like particularly if you can get them on like your opponent's big figure. Now they're like half of their actions are trying to avoid possessors. So that's my hypothesis, at least. My Silver Age team that I'm tinkering with, that is the full Brian bullshit, has some possessors on it. And I think I've got a fun trick. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I haven't had it. It's one of those, like, in theory, this team is great, but you got to put it on a map and see how the pieces all fit together. And I haven't had a chance, but I think the possessors are a big part of it. So we'll see.
Excellent.
Well, last weekend, I had a fun experience. Talked to one of my locals who hasn't been coming for like the last 8 months to come play. And then I talked him into buying half of a brick. We just split the boosters and each took half because he hasn't bought anything for a while. He doesn't have anything from Strange Tales. And it was funny when he pulled the possessors. He's like, "Where's the card?" And then I had to explain to him what happened because he hadn't been active. And he had the same reaction we all did. And I got to see it from this side of things.
Real. Wait, what?
That's
the hard thing with that is too, like, if you miss the announcement, it's kind of hard to find the cards.
Where is the site for the
HC
cards?
rounds. HC units. Get them off HC units. Just print them up.
I know, seriously, it should just be, let's just add more tasks for Clay to do. Just like click download on each of them.
So there's not
Clay,
a
why don't you just go ahead and mail me some, since you're so good at everything.
So there's not a specific site. You just print them off HC units.
I think Wizkids posted them somewhere, but it was like on a blog post, and I don't know if they ever actually made like a more permanent link than just what was in that blog post.
I just never bothered. Now I'm kind of like, I need to do that, and I don't know where to go.
I mean, probably I would just Google Strange Tales print and play, Heroclix Strange Tales print and play, something like that. We used to be able to download every card in this game, guys.
Yes, we could.
That's before my age.
We had print and play. I mean, I got all these undocumented workers up here. Print and play would be awesome. I could print their cards again and then use them.
It would be great. I never have fully understood quite the justification when asked why we can't do print and play anymore.
It was something to do with Marvel and DC not wanting them to have that access. They had the artwork for comic books on them at the time, so I could see that being one of the issues.
Yeah, but that was where I was like, well, sanitize it for print and play then.
Yeah. Just scrub it.
Pay a designer a couple hours to go through and just hide those layers on all the cards. It's not hard.
What is your favorite action flick?
Ooh, man, that's a hard question.
Mine's still Point Break from the 90s.
Hell yeah.
Really?
I mean, that's a great choice. You know, not in a, like, I always want to go back and watch it, but in a expanded my mind on what an action movie like completely could be. I gotta say The Matrix. Like, I remember going to see The Matrix in high school, and I'd seen like no trailers for it or anything. It was just a buddy was like, "There's this movie that's supposed to be cool. Let's go see it." So I went in with like no conception at all what this movie was. And I remember walking out and being like, I've never seen anything like this in my life. It was so cool to see at the time.
That movie definitely changed filmmaking forever. Like, just the mechanics of how they film things and the filmography and the action sequences and just the whole thing was just a completely new beast. And then everybody's been copying it ever since.
Yeah. You know what our movies have in common, Scott?
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
What?
Keanu Reeves was in both of them.
Keanu Reeves, man.
Oh.
If you want a good action movie, just Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. He's got a nice library of them.
It's true.
Mine had Patrick Swayze, and I believe Nick Nolte as well,
Mm.
and the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
You know, my all-time favorite movie features a Red Hot Chili Pepper, and that's The Big Lebowski.
The dude.
Yeah, the dude abides, man.
Will Doomsday save the MCU?
I feel like you're putting too much pressure on that. Like you think the MCU is already gone?
It kind of is. I mean, Thunderbolts was lackluster in the box office. I love the flick. I think it's a great film. I watched it last night, but it wasn't well received. And the last big budget MCU film that did well was probably Deadpool Wolverine, which wasn't really technically an MCU movie. I mean, technically it was, but really wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this entire phase post Endgame, Marvel got a little bit out over their skis, where they were like, we can do whatever we want, and people are just gonna line up to see it.
No, there's fatigue for the
Yeah.
genre.
Yeah, there's fatigue for the genre.
And then they want to force feed it to be like, oh, hey, we're gonna make everyone not what they are in the comics. We want everyone to be a female character. We want a female movie. I'm like, hey, that's great aspirations, but that's not what the stories are in the comics.
Yeah, and I feel like there's fatigue for the whole multiverse kind of conceit too. I kind of think that we are maybe moving past, or we'll soon be hitting kind of a point where culturally superhero movies are going to be a little blasé. Which, you know, when it happens, it'll have been an incredible run, because you think of, like, you know, previously there was that run of like Batman through the original X-Men movies, and then after like X2. All right, this time it ain't me.
Not me. Wes doesn't even hear
I don't
it.
hear anything.
That means it's yours, Wes.
Yeah.
I haven't touched anything. I'm just sitting here listening.
Yeah, it's yours.
Anyways, you know, it's just a computer is cranking it somewhere. So
Right? Who's got the X videos open?
yeah. But anyways, yeah, I feel like we're probably hitting a point of just superhero fatigue in general, where it'll drop off, similar to it kind of did after the best of the X-Men franchise. And culturally, that's fine. We probably need a break for a little while so that the genre can
Is
reinvent
anime
itself.
taking over?
I don't think it'll be anime. I think that the broader cultural thing is ready for something different, and I don't know what it's gonna be, but I feel like it'll be time. And then
Romantic comedies.
Just, you know, just in general, I would love to see comedies make a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird how few comedies there are in movies these days. The Naked Gun last year, I was so happy to just have a movie to just go and laugh at.
Yep.
It doesn't live up to the original Naked Guns, because nothing could, but
no,
it was still fun, and it was nice to just have a movie that's fun and stupid.
All right, Brian, I got a movie I need you to watch. It's kind of a comedy / kind of Pulp Fiction style. I don't know how you put it together. It is called Movie 43.
Movie 43.
It is completely thrown off.
Yeah. I'm writing this down. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah. And it has everybody in it. Like everybody. Hugh Jackman's in it. Stifler's in it. Johnny Knoxville's in it. Halle Berry's in it.
Wow.
Emma Stone's in it.
How have I not heard of this?
Because it was some under the ground bullshit. I mean, I enjoyed the shit out of the movie.
Yeah, it's funny. It feels like all of the more artsy movies right now are all horror films, which is another weird thing with films right now. But it feels like all of the like high concept stuff is all like in the horror genre, which is another weird one. Friendship last year, fantastic. Love that movie.
Haven't seen it. Got to write that one down.
Mm-hmm.
Friendship. All right.
All right. My last question for this segment is I'm going to be teaching a new player probably this week, hopefully. Never touched a Heroclix before. What advice, this is for both of you, do you have for teaching a brand new player?
I'll let Brian go. I got a big spiel on that. I'll let Brian go.
Yeah. So my big thing is to work in pieces. And so let's get down just kind of the basics of the game of, but even before we get into power actions, you can take an action to move, you can take an action to attack. Everything that you do is like triggered off of an action. Let's just do that. Then we can introduce free actions. And eventually we'll start getting into powers, but how I've always gone about teaching people is like, let's learn the very basic mechanics. I will make just pieces that you can beat up on as like a practice dummy. I have tons and tons of foot soldiers from the Ninja Turtle sets, which is absolutely what I would use for people to like learn against because they're simple dials. And but yeah, start with the basics, and even then, like once you start getting into powers, I'd just be like, all right, we're only going to look at this set of powers while you're learning it. And there's lots to do. The game is really dynamic, but it's going to take you a while. So let's just kind of do it one at a time, and then let's get used to like looking at a PAC while you're playing.
He does have some background in tabletop gaming, so that should help.
So that helps with like getting the action economy down faster. And I think the biggest thing that I see with rules is just like you gotta get in your brain that the way that rules language works is like a very specific wording thing, and when you try to just be like, but this is what it plainly says, is when you get into trouble. You gotta think like a rules computer. So anyways, that's kind of how I've started people off, at least.
No. I completely agree. You got to take it in segments. I like to call it blocks or whatever. Usually whenever we're training a new player, we play once a week, and they'll come in on Monday, and it's like, okay, here we go. We're going to dissect what is range, what is movement, what is attack, what is defense, what is damage, and we're going to go through the map, because the map is what you're playing on. You need to know the terrain of the map. That's going to be our first week rundown. If they want to play pickup games during the week, whatever, sure, let's go for it. Week 2, we're going to start learning defensive powers. You're going to start on your PAC. This keeps the game slow because you're absorbing a lot of damage, and you don't have your free actions. You don't have your movement attacks. Week 3, we start on movement powers. So you're getting some movement attacks in. You're getting some extra stuff in. Week 4, you're going to go with attack powers. Week 5, you go with the damage powers, and then week 6 is team abilities, which they should already have most of what the team abilities do as they're going through their previous weeks.
Do you guys feel like the DC and Marvel starter sets are apt for teaching?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
I feel like they're better than just regular sets. So.
Absolutely. I mean, heck, you can even throw the DC starter or the Marvel starter versus the Thundercats, just to have a little bit more flavor in it.
Oh, speaking of Thundercats, shout out to our Patreon winner for this month, Josh Howard. He won the Patreon drawing for the Thundercats and your LE, and then
King Cole.
And then I felt generous, so I did a second spin of the wheel, and he won again. So he's getting 2 more LEs
out of the stack.
With his Thundercats and your King Cole. So good job, Josh Howard, for being very lucky on the spinning wheel thing.
Congrats, Josh. I'm proud of you.
So for everybody who doesn't know, we do our Patreon giveaways beginning of each month. I try to do it as close to the first as possible. I was a little slow this week. $5 and above gets your name put in the drawing, and every $5 increment above that, they get an additional name put in. At the $15 mark, you get to be a guest host on the show, and or we're going to start doing more Roll20 games, recording those, and you get to battle one of us if you're a $15 giver. So if
It's
you like
whatever,
to
yo.
see what you hear on our show, you want to support the heroes of Heroclix and you know everybody, throw us a bone and get put in for a drawing. Yeah, anything else?
Hooray. March Madness bracket should be coming out next weekend. I'm going to have a March Madness bracket. I'm going to be doing it off of Yahoo. And for the winner of the March Madness bracket, where are you at, Deadpool? I'm going to give away Deadpool at home.
Nice.
So all you got to do is enter into the March Madness bracket and win over whoever else is playing. And you'll get a Deadpool at home.
Awesome. Anything else?
No, that's all I got. We got questions.
All right, Brian. I know you haven't watched our shows. You got your own show to listen to, but here at Talkn Clix, we have a tradition called the Clix Questionnaire. And while I've done my best to ask you some really in-depth questions and get to know you, Scott has just drilled in, put you in a hot seat. But we haven't done a good enough job of letting the community really know who you are as a person. So I've connected with the scientists at Talkn Clix Studios and the laboratories, and they concocted the perfect questionnaire to penetrate your defenses, dig down to your soul, and reveal it to the community as a whole so that they can all know you as the real person you are inside. Are you brave enough to answer these questions?
Oh, yeah.
What is the first day of the week?
Sunday.
Would you rather have banks, cats, or AI as the overlords of the new world?
Was the second choice cats?
Banks, cats, or AI?
God. All of those are a dystopian future.
Yes. Like cats already think they're the overlords.
I know, but letting them actually be overlords, I don't think I can. And listen, I do enough work with AI to know how stupid it would be in charge. So I guess it's got to be Banks, which I don't love, but Banks wins over AI.
What is a hill that you're willing to die on, and it has to be petty?
Example, my wife, if I open a Monster in front of my wife, she has to have the first drink of it or I get throat punched.
Ooh. That is petty. Man. I'm mostly an easygoing guy, so this isn't quite petty, but I'm just gonna say it's fine to not like things. Don't get upset. Don't get upset because somebody doesn't like the shit you like.
Absolutely. Mine today is that the orange sixlets taste different than the rest of the pack.
I don't even know what those are.
What a sixlet is?
No.
It's the little chocolate candies. They have different colors like blue, red, green, orange. Yeah. The orange ones taste different. They have an orangish flavor in the candy shell.
It makes sense. Or orange is a flavor and a color, so.
All right. If you could go back in time and strangle the internet in its infancy, would you do it?
No. I love the internet, man. Listen, for all the toxicity that the internet creates, there's so much cool shit that we've also gotten from the internet. Just the ability to connect with folks that we wouldn't otherwise on shared hobbies, like we're doing right here.
Yes.
Like stuff like this, the ability for us to connect over shared interests is such an incredible thing. It sucks that, eventually a bean counter gets in the way and everything becomes about how do we make $1. But would I strangle the internet? No, because I've made so many friendships using various technologies on the internet that I would never have otherwise. Also, it pays most of my bills.
All right. So for one whole year, for one calendar year, you have to give up either showering or the internet.
I'm giving up the internet.
All right. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of Heroclix opponents?
Ooh. I'm gonna go Northwest specific because I love to highlight Northwest guys. My former teammate Chip, like he and I always just had really tight games, really interesting games. A buddy that used to play in our league, who we called the mailman on our podcast, Richard Lee Johnson. He does have two names that are both euphemisms for penis.
Yes.
Which is kind of how he plays. Jordan Beers, who was another Northwest guy who was just like always a clever player, always interesting games with him. And Andrew Place Burtner, who's another more old school Clix player from the Northwest. Just incredible to watch him because he would often show up to an event and not have a team and just open his trunk and be like, all right, what do I have in my trunk? And start like building a team from just whatever's in the back of his trunk. And that motherfucker would still somehow place in the top 4 in a tournament with just like whatever pieces he put together in his trunk right before the game starts.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is your favorite breakfast cereal?
Ooh. Does oatmeal count?
No.
Oh man.
Cold cereal.
Cold cereal. Okay. In that case, we're gonna go with Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
What? All right, you can have dinner with anyone throughout history. Who are you eating with, and what are you having?
One person.
One person throughout history. Man, there's a lot of historical figures that I think would be interesting to have dinner with. But I'm gonna go with Martin Luther, who kicked off the whole Protestant Reformation, and because I've read some of Luther's letters, and the dude was just kind of a shit raiser, in like really funny ways, like he was kind of an internet troll before internet trolls existed, like. Part of the Reformation was just him trolling Catholics, and it was very funny. So I think he would be very entertaining to have dinner with. So I'm gonna say Martin Luther. What are we eating? Well, we're talking 1600s Germany, so probably like some fucking sausage.
If you were a crayon, what color would you be?
Neon blue.
Do you sing in the shower or in the car?
Car.
What is the last book that you've read? And audiobooks and comic books do count.
The last book that I completed was Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I'm currently reading another Brandon Sanderson book called Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. But I've been on like a year of Brandon Sanderson. I've read way too much Brandon Sanderson in the last year.
Hey, I've been on Hunter Blaine the last year, and I finally caught up with everything he's got.
Nice.
Waiting on 2 more books. Which tastes better, round or square pizza?
I mean, square, right?
I mean, you would think.
Detroit style, baby.
Talking like elementary school. What are you talking about?
Scott, do you have an animal in mind?
I do have an animal.
All right.
He's got a koala bear, a drop bear.
You're fighting a koala bear in a fight with no weapons. Can you defeat it?
Fuck, I can't beat a koala bear with no weapons. Fucking drop bears, dude. They're cute, but koalas will fuck you up.
Yeah.
If I tried to claim yes, it would only be a matter of time before an Australian calls bullshit on me. So,
I mean, technically, drop bears aren't real. It's just some kind of internet troll thing. But a koala bear will still fuck you up.
Yeah, I still believe in drop bears.
All right. Who is your Disney princess? And Princess Leia is one of them.
Okay. Fox made Marion.
Nice. Classic. All right. How many tries did it take before you got your driver's license? And how old were you?
I got it on my first try on my 16th birthday. I almost failed the written exam. In fact, the computer said I failed the written exam. And I pointed out to the person running the DMV that it improperly marked one of my questions as wrong, but my answer was right. Which, good on 16-year-old me for having the chutzpah to tell DMV that their test was wrong.
That's brave. Good job.
Yeah.
Good on you, man. All right. So that has been the Clix questionnaire. You've survived the trial. You've endured the flames of the questionnaire. How does it feel to be completely exposed and naked to the Clix community?
Oh, I feel fantastic.
All right. Well, your reward for answering all those difficult questions is to ask us one.
All right. Man, I could make this real interesting.
Oh, I love interesting.
Who's your least favorite person to play Clix against and why?
Why? I would say if they have a piss poor attitude. I have a local that I play. Sometimes I don't like playing him because he gets out ahead of himself thinking that, well, this game sucks. This game's stupid. I'm going to lose. I'm like, dude, you missed one shape change roll. You've made every other roll. And we talked about it last Monday. I'm like, you still have the driver's seat. Just calm down and play the game. So his name is Kenneth. And Kenneth, I love you. Sometimes playing against you sucks ass.
Actually, mine's not that far off from yours, Scott. In general, it's just anybody who is a sore loser or is taking the game way too freaking seriously. There's a local of mine that has been known to. I've been afraid that he's going to flip the table over on me because his dice went cold on him. Like it's just people are just so intensely serious and they are forgetting that it's a game. We're playing with little plastic superheroes. We're all just having fun, and they're just like the idea of winning is so intense for them that they can't enjoy the game. So anybody like that,
I can understand that whole dice cold thing.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily winning. It's just like I want to have one win. I don't have to win the whole game. Let me get one dice.
Yeah,
well, especially being frustrated and just being a dick about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the poor attitude thing, and then dumping that on your opponent drives me up the wall. My least favorite by far, though, is the guy who gets stoned before the tournament and thinks that he's a great player while stoned, and it's just him going sidestep. No, not there. Sidestep here. No, not there either. I'm like, bro, just make a move, please. I would like to play Clix.
To riff off that, though, my favorite people to play against are the people who think they're big shit and talk a big game, and then you get in there and just whoop on them, and it's just so gratifying.
Oh yeah, for sure. The being a poor sport thing, man, it's a weird one for me. Like, I get it because I'm an emotional player. Like, it's not unusual for me to be like yelling at dice if I'm having a bad day, like, come on. And I've had a couple where I realize, like, okay, I've gotten a little aggressive, and I'll stop myself and like look at my opponent and be like, bro, I'm not yelling at you. I got no problems with you. This is just me and my dice. We're working through some stuff. So just
I'm trying to work through it, but my dice won't go with me.
What's it the Manny Kinks always says? It's okay to be emotional or something like that.
Who? Manny? Yeah. He says emotion's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy scaring Magic players at tournaments from being boisterous because they get weirded out by having a boisterous Clix player near them. We had a tournament in Spokane a couple years back, and I was playing Hunter Peterson, who's a great player from the Spokane area, and we both kept like hitting roll-offs against each other, and it was like both of us are standing over the table and just yelling every time that somebody rolls a super sense. And it was the most fun I've had, and all of the Magic players were terrified of us.
I did the same thing at Red, White, and Clix. Like every time we have a success, it's like, yeah, it's a party.
Yeah. Dude, at that CCO for the Silver Pulp, I was playing the Scarlet Witch who has rally die on friendly ones. And every game, I mean, I had some really bad rolls over the course of that tournament. And every time though that a 1 came up, I just be like, another 1.
I love the rally mechanic. I wish they would bring some of that back.
Yeah.
That was really hard to keep track of, though. I always forgot to count my dice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely a hard one to mentally keep. I like having like one piece on my build that has it.
Yep.
And friendly ones makes life a lot better when your dice are not agreeing with you.
Well, Scott, we've had guests on from Texas to all over the Midwest, all the way up to the Northwest. We need to get somebody over in Maine or something.
Man, I'm trying.
Find somebody from Portland, Maine, so we can do from Portland to Portland.
There you go. I mean, we've had Australia and Japan and
Canada.
Yep. We've been all over the place. We just need to get that little corner of the United States up there.
I'm working on a guy in Hungary.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, Brian, thanks for being here. It's been a great talking to you. We love getting to know people on other podcasts and kind of get that multiverse.
Cross-pollination is what I'm calling it.
Yep. So it's been great talking to you. You're a great guy. I look forward to eventually seeing you at an event, even if we are very far away from each other. But
for sure.
Do you have any final thoughts for the evening?
I mean, I wouldn't be a podcaster if I didn't promote my own podcast. So the Eagle Hub, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We should be anywhere that you're looking for a podcast these days. But we have fun. We talk about pieces. We talk about meta. We talk about tournaments. We have a good time. We do segments where we look at silly rules questions and then actually talk about rules, but also make fun of some really dumb rules questions. And
there's a lot of laughing on their show.
Lots of laughs. So we'd love to have you join us, and I'm just happy to get to hang out with some other Heroclix players.
Awesome.
All right. It's okay to not be okay. It's not okay to stay that way.
All right. And anybody who is planning for their one big event for the year, make sure you think about Red, White, and Clix in November. I have started laying the groundwork this week for some really big stuff coming up. I don't want to reveal it too soon, but some big stuff coming up. So it's going to be a huge event this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody who's been there before has said it was awesome. So maybe think about that as your one big trip this year. But my final thought for the evening is always, we're all players on the board, so let's play together. And as always, keep on Clixing. Yeah, have a good night.
Good night.
Abolish ice.
Pacific Northwest, where the click scene's thin. Hour-long drives just to roll dice with friends. Pastor Brian once, now coding all day, still breaking the meta in his own strange way. Cooler in the trunk, snacks stacked high, click stat making sure no one's dry. You study the build, every piece, every bit, then Brian drops nonsense and somehow it hits. It's Brian's bullshit. Eagle cast line, laughing through the chaos with the crew online. Scene went quiet, tables ran dry. Now the Eagle's back, Phoenix in the sky. You think you're ready for the tactical clash, then an 8-year-old kid kicks Brian's ass.
Tonight on Talking Clix, we learned 2 things. 1, Brian's bullshit might actually be genius. 2, never underestimate the quiet kid across the table.
Brian's bullshit, hear the crowd cry. From the Eagle Hub to Talking Clix tonight. Wespool laughing, dice roll twice. Brian signs off with one last advice. Phoenix rising, dice collide. Clix dad driving through the night. Apologize.